That's kind of weird. But I was just having some fun feels this morning about polyamory, and I wanted to make a video about it, and so I just thought, I don't know, I'm having some fun feels about it right now. It might make more sense for me to just talk about it now than to plan out something. So the thing I was realizing this morning, which is the same thing about polyamory is true for me about spirituality, where threads in my life, people in my life, energies in my life will be coming together and not making any sense, and then suddenly it all starts making sense. Similar with gender and sexuality, like the way that I show up in the world now as a trans man, that has been kind of clear in my life now that I look back, and the same is kind of true as my identity as a polyamorous person, and also just the specifics of my sexuality. I'm a big advocate on about the fact that sexuality is so unique to each individual person. The thing that turns one person on, yeah, it could be girls or guys, but it could also be, I don't know, the color red, or sunshine, or when someone just barely touches you with the tip of their fingertips, or trees. Sexuality is so nuanced, and there's no script for it, and that's a big important thing that people need to realize, that sexuality is different for each person. The first girl that I had any kind of serious relationship with first person I had any kind of serious relationship with after moving to Austin was polyamorous and trans, and so she introduced me to the polyamorous community, and I have been polyamorous ever since. So I just had my introduction into dating and sex and all of that straight out of the gate, and I don't think with a polyamorous individual, and I loved it so much. I loved the freedom and autonomy of it, coming from a culture that was more repressive and controlling of sexuality and identity. And just looking back, as I've continued to move through the world, I've dated mostly queer people who were in my immediate queer vicinity, and I had mostly just ended up dating a lot of very young queer people who, at least in Austin, majority are polyamorous. So it had not been something I had to explain. It had just been something kind of interwoven into the culture. I was really exploring. I was really comfortable with casual relationships, and I was doing a lot of partying and stuff, which felt very it felt very natural that you would be dating lots of people and seeing lots of people when you're in just sort of a casual party space. But then as I started moving into a desire to have more intimate, long-term, serious connections with people, it did, and more sober connections with people, it did become more of a choice that I had to make that was less natural. Not like we're all at a party so we're gonna hook up, more like we're planning our dates and our lives together, and we're gonna do that with multiple people. And so yeah, in this new relationship that I'm in right now, that's about to be a year together, we have been polyamorous the whole time, the same as my other relationships. But I didn't really I had a few people that I dated a little bit here and there, but I didn't really have another more serious partnership or even date mate up until recently. And this serious partner that I'm with right now, in our relationship, shows up very feminine. And I know some people hate this terminology, but another way to describe it might be I'm the man in the relationship, quote unquote, right? Now I'm moving into this partnership with this person who's more masculine in our dynamic. They are also non-binary, but they are more masculine and more dominant to me. and they are a man, whereas this other person is more of a woman, and this, like, even though they're non-binary. As I was sitting with why these people, why is this what's aligning for me, I had this memory that last year I did a year of no dating. Like, I wasn't trying to connect with anyone as I was healing my own being, and yet there were two people that I was like having sex with, and it was a like a trans girl that was, you know, beautiful, and like I don't even think we ever had sex, but we just went, you know, what do you call that? Gallivanting in the woods, in the flowers, and like painting, and like, and I really wanted to like tie her up and like, you know, make out with her and like be dominant towards her, and like I just loved her femininity so much. And then the other person I was having sex with at that point in my life was this dominant, and we were literally not even dating. He was just my play partner. Like in the kink community, sometimes people, they just want to play, you know, with each other, but they're not interested in committing. So he was my dominant, and he was a man, and he was only interested in being a man and being dominant. And it's just, and I was like, those were the two people that I was seeing at that point in my life. So to go back, like when I had my long-term girlfriend, Evelyn, she's been on my videos on here, and she was very serious a partner in my life, and just, you know, taught me so much. But while I was seeing her, the primary, I would go out and see other people, and she was like so submissive and like just so not jealous, and she was one of those, she would just stay at home so patiently and joyfully while I would go and seek these, I would have her at home as my like darling and my baby and like my girl, and then I would go, and I had at the time I developed a relationship with a dominant man who was showing up in my life in this way, and he and I were dating, but he was also my dominant. And even though it never really felt like I was choosing that, it felt like I'm going around and kind of just dating lots of people, but it always turned out in retrospect that I had someone more masculine playing a more dominant role, and then I had like my girl, and I would like play with other people, but whenever like relationships developed, I always had both of those. And I think why it's really helpful for me to recognize that is that I like to be able to have these conversations with partners, especially if people are not as used to like polyamory, or are wondering, especially with intentional dating, like you know, am I important in your life, and all of these things. I think it's important for me to be able to articulate that, like, I have always chosen to have and gravitated towards and been magnetized towards having a feminine presence and a masculine presence in my life. And it's not that those people are confined to those spaces. I think I just naturally flow to that energy. And my partners that are more non-binary, even when I was having sex quite a lot with a friend of mine, I was just noticing that as my energy with them shifted, my energy with my partner right now would shift towards either showing up as dominant or submissive with one, and then the other, and then not the other. Like if one was leaning into dominance with me, I would kind of naturally lean into dominance with the other, and this just kind of beautiful dichotomy. And like, I like the fact that, and I'm using the words feminine and masculine because that's true of these people, but I'm also using the word dominant and submissive because I think that's nice in a queer space to be able to articulate without gendered language. I love this like realization of what my soul does. Like, it's like know thyself. Like, it's like getting to become more aware of your own energy. And I think there's just something beautiful in that, like the realization that without, like, that all of our minds and our sexualities work on these patterns. It's so nice to just own that and claim it, because sometimes the dominant narrative of what a healthy relationship looks like, which for most people would be a man and a woman, you know, like on TV, in some kind of monogamous relationship. I know that's not true for me, and like it just gives me so much bliss to realize that that's something that not only can I choose, but I can see throughout my life has brought me the most wellness, and has brought my partners who truly were also aligned with that the most wellness. And usually my partners have had other partners too, and that makes me feel really safe, because I feel that I can move through the world and connect with these partners, and they can have their grounded space as well while I'm connecting with someone else. And like, I don't know, I just wanted to thank the goddess a little bit for showing me this. And I do align it with the energy of the goddess and the god. I do see that I am choosing maybe to get to connect with the energy of the goddess, and then to connect with the energy of the god through these human like counterparts. And there's this magic where I get to embody both of them. And as a aspiring priest, I want to at some point join a coven and be part of a community where I am a priest and can embody and call down the goddess and the god, because this is who I feel that I have the ability to do. And I have yet to find a coven that was okay with that, because of the gendered nature of like witchcraft and Wicca. I feel that I would call down the goddess and the god, and I think that shows up also in this way, that I choose partners who pull that out of me. So just some fun realizations this morning, and some play with energies. And of course, you could use other words. You don't have to say goddess and god. Like, you could just say yin and yang, and light and dark. Like, I have oftentimes said that I am bisexual, and even though pansexual is also a term that would apply, the reason that I also like the word bisexual is that for me, I am a little bit attracted to the binary. Like I am, which is one reason I'm attracted to Wicca, which highlights the goddess and the god, because I am attracted to the binary a lot. And I notice myself sitting in between. So what a fun realization. This could change, you know, tomorrow or the next day. This is just what I've been noticing. So yeah, please share with me the patterns that you notice above your sexuality and your dating history and your sexual exploits. And I'd be so excited to hear about them, and to like celebrate them with you, and to like give that space and sacredness and honor. And yeah, I hope that you feel like seen and respected and valued, and just like so whole and beautiful and like good and respected, like I said, in your sexuality. So yeah, tell me those things in the comments, and I'd love to chat and respond to you. One thing that I think is really fun to talk about too is asexuality. I have a really good friend who is asexual, or ace leaning, and I love talking with them about their asexuality, because it's something that's not often seen and valued and celebrated. And like, when you find people that really align and celebrate that with you, that's just a really big deal. So I'd love to hear any of that in the comments too. And until I see y'all again, have a great, beautiful day, and I don't know, stay gay.